Yes lads, how's it going? Max here, and today welcome back to another episode of Talk Tottenham, the series where you guys send in your comments over on social media, on Twitter basically, and we get talking, we get cracking, we have a little laugh, we talk about Spurs, we have a rant, we talk about things that you guys want to talk about basically, simple as that. Gonna jump into things. I know why you guys are all here. It was the Tottenham White Hart Lane finale yesterday against Manchester United, last ever Spurs game at White Hart Lane. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think it did. And what a send-off. How unbelievable was that send-off? The game, we obviously wanted the victory. We got the victory. We cemented second place, which I'm happy about. I'm really over the moon with that. It's still better than last season. I don't see how anyone can criticise us. Before we start talking about all the ceremony and who should have been invited and who was there, who wasn't, what legend you wanted to see, there was a rainbow. There was so many things to talk about. So obviously going into the game, everyone had a little bit of nerve around the stadium. There was a buzz going around. Everyone wanted to see a win. They wanted to see that as the last send-off. Everyone wanted to see Kane get on the score sheet. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, obviously 5 minutes in, we find ourselves 1-0 up. Victor Wan, big one, bullet header. De Gea who? Sorry. I was gutted I couldn't be there to experience it, but all I had to see was on social media. Everyone was sharing pictures, videos, the goals, the celebrations, everything that you need to see was shown online. You can just find it. And even watch the ceremony again. I can't even... They had a separate channel episode. Can't even get my words out. They had an episode dedicated to Tottenham on Sky Sports 1 yesterday. Like, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen for Spurs. We're normally a team that sits second most of the season and no one talks about us. But all of a sudden we get our own little episode for 45 minutes. I'll take it. It was unbelievable. Got to see people like Berbatov, Robbie Keane, Ginola. Oh, when he came on with his doing his selfie bits, that's exactly what I'd be doing. The guy is a legend. The game was brilliant and there's just so much to talk about. I don't know where to start. I literally don't know where to start. There's so many memories. I'm going to set you guys a challenge right now. If you really enjoy these videos and you want to see another one where I talk about my memories throughout White Hart Lane and my first game ever as a kid. I mean, I put it on Twitter. You guys will probably know it. But honestly, you want me to talk about it? Let's smash 350 likes. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. We've hit it before. We hit 500 for one of the vlogs recently. That was unbelievable. So let's get cracking. Jump into some comments and let's go. So obviously, like I said, I've grabbed a few comments. I'll try and mix it up every week so you don't want to talk about the same stuff. Like, I don't want to talk about Walker, but it's probably going to end up happening in this episode. We're jumping into Callum. What's Callum got to say? He says, what's your favourite song at the Lane? Mine is the Dele Alli song, or Spurs are on their way to Wembley. If I'm going by current songs, Callum, I'd 100% agree with you. But there's some good ones that involve a bit of swearing that I'm probably not going to sing. But I imagine you can probably guess which ones they are. They involve Arsenal with a string. Na 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 na, yeah, you obviously gathered what I said there. There's been some amazing one-liners for some players that have just been at the club. Like, I remember even Paul Stalteri when he scored against West Ham. He had a song, Paul Blimmin Stalteri. Some of you watching might not even know who he is, so I suggest you Google it. Stalteri versus West Ham, 4-3. We came from behind to win. Tevez scored an unbelievable free kick. We ran up the other end at the end of the game and popped it bottom corner. After Defoe should have scored, actually. That's another video. So hopefully that's answered your question, Cal. Matt says, what is your favourite White Hart Lane memory, and do you think Nkudu will play more next season? Starting off with Nkudu, I really like the lad. Maybe he's not working hard enough in training, but for God's sake, let's hope he starts the next 2 fixtures, because why not? We're guaranteed second. We can't win the league. There's nothing to lose now. There is nothing to lose. We've had a brilliant season. We've got the most points. We're undefeated at the Lane. There's nothing you can literally tell me right now that I'm going to be disappointed in Spurs this season. We could lose our next 2 games. Not saying we're going to, but we could, and I'd still be unbelievably proud of the team this season. Before I forget, Matt also said, what was your favourite memory at White Hart Lane? It's probably going back to my first ever game, because I went and saw Tottenham against West Ham. Funnily enough, it had to be against those bubble blowing pineapples. That was a bit random, but anyway, Bobby Zamora scored in extra time to win 1-0 in the FA Cup, I believe, or Carling Cup, sorry, and I was 10 years old. That is literally up there as one of my favourite moments ever. The first ever game, got to see a victory. Didn't even know, like, what was at stake between Tottenham and West Ham. And now looking back at it, Bobby Zamora, of all people, what a guy. That's a good moment, a great memory to share with you guys. That was in 2003, just in case you want to look up the article or something. Alex says, what is your worst and favourite, I know it's a bit, I just read that opposite, what's your favourite and worst moment at White Hart Lane? Come on you Spurs. Favourite moment? That's actually a very good question, because obviously the last one was, oh, that said favourite as well. Awkward. I'll say another favourite moment, and I'll say a recent one. It's definitely that goal that Kane scored against Arsenal. You're probably thinking of the screamer, where he cut inside and popped it top bins, but no, it's the one where he actually leant back, the ball's going over the top, header, far corner, because I was at that game as well. Oh, Harry Kane. He's not a legend yet, but he's very close to being, because that guy's created memories for many fans already. Worst moment at White Hart Lane, Alex. Now, this is a tricky one. Worst moment being, I haven't seen many bad moments. I've seen, obviously, us get knocked out of the UEFA Cup by Sevilla. I'm obviously going by if I've been to the game. That's what I'm judging this off. There's not too many really unhappy moments. Last game of the season where we didn't get it, Bale scored a screamer against Sunderland, but everyone knew that Arsenal were beating Newcastle, I believe. It might not be Newcastle, so don't quote me on that, but that was probably that was a sad day, because obviously I knew Spurs weren't getting Champions League. Nicola says, really random, but what do you think of Sonny? Seen so much negativity, and I know he's not insane, but I really like him, so much potential. His potential is class. Like, he can keep on going. The thing that annoys me and winds me up about Son is he's not clinical enough. I know you're probably like, well, look how many goals he scored this season. You're right, he's scored loads of goals, but he could have nearly double with the amount of chances he's had. He doesn't take enough of his chances. Why doesn't he just have a few sessions with Kane? And I don't mean out on the town getting battered. I mean on the training pitch from 18 yards, kicking the ball in the net. Because at the end of the day, that's what Kane does. Kane stays probably behind training. That's how you get better. Josh says, what do you make of Lamella not being at the party yesterday? And what's the best goal you've seen at White Hart Lane? Best goal? Oh, that's a tricky one. The best goal? Off the top of my head, I'll quickly read out the next one. What do you make of Lamella not being there? I'm a bit disappointed that he wasn't there. Whether he's still recovering, who knows? He should have been there. Like, there's no question why. It doesn't matter how injured you are. I don't know whether that's being a bit harsh, but if you can walk, you should be there. I don't think that's being harsh. Best goal I've seen. I've been to quite a lot of games recently in the last few seasons, so it's generally hard to pick a goal. Like, the older generation would say, like, oh, Gaza against Arsenal and like goals like that. But if you're talking recent, I'm talking Harry Kane against Chelsea. The season where he like proved himself to be a big name. Held off a couple of players and popped it in. I think that was the game that was 5-3. But I'm going to say that one for now. I'd have to do a bit of research, because off the top of my head, that one's definitely up there. Nia says, who's been your unsung hero this season? Hashtag Tottenham, hashtag the lane, the finale. I mean, unsung hero, obviously Eriksen got fans player of the season. I'd love to say Eriksen, so if we're not going to say Eriksen, I'm going to go with Wanyama. Wanyama or Dembele, but no, I'm going to go Wanyama. Sorry, got literally an itchy nose. Wanyama, unsung hero, guy's a brute. He's absolutely unbelievable. He wins tackles he shouldn't be allowed to. I can't even spit my words out, but it doesn't matter, because he just holds off people like this, pushes them out of the way, see you later, and then all he needs to do is release it, pass the ball. Sometimes he doesn't do it enough. He doesn't just pass the ball. Just tackle, gain possession, get rid. That's what I love Wanyama for. That's his role at the club. That is his role. The man, bro, he's commented on this channel before, and he says, season ticket for Wembley. I hope so. I'm going to be going to a lot more games next season, so be prepared for a lot of vlogs. Come on, you Spurs. Even if I didn't sound very convinced there, I am hoping to go to a lot more games next season. Sonny says, what's the best game you have attended at White Hart Lane? I don't know if I've repeated myself, but it includes the goal that Kane scored against Chelsea, the 5-3. Unbelievable. I cannot tell you what the atmosphere was like. Whenever me and my dad are talking about atmosphere and games we've been to, that one is up there with the best, because the place was rocking. Literally, it was just, you can't actually describe it. Take yesterday, for example, after the game, where the fans stay and they're still singing. That's how it was. That everyone was behind the team. Obviously, I believe we went 2-1 up. I can't even remember. I feel like a bad fan. So there was a time in that game where Tottenham were 3-1 up. I'm pretty sure, if I can remember. and you just didn't feel safe, and that's just typical Tottenham. Now we have a lot more confidence in the side. The fans are more confident. The fans get behind the team because they know that we can complete the job. But that, you didn't feel, it was like a nervy, confident vibe going around the stadium because everyone was buzzing, but everyone knew when Chelsea were on the break, they looked like they were going to score. And similar to this season, Chelsea have been brilliant. They've scored a shite ton of goals. But it's just that. But that game was honestly incredible. Honestly. Oh, what I'd do to relive it. I don't think I even vlogged that game because, I mean, I might have done. Alexandra says, were there any specific Spurs legends, in your opinion, who wasn't at the ceremony that you would have liked to be there? Hashtag Talk Tottenham. I would say Paul Gascoigne. There's not many off the top of my head that I can think of that weren't there. Obviously, Van der Vaart I'd love to have seen. Gareth Bale I'd have loved to have seen. As I'm recording this video, he still hasn't said anything. I feel like I need to burp. He still hasn't said anything regarding Spurs, and it kind of worries me because why wouldn't you? It doesn't make sense. I can't process it in my brain why he hasn't just dropped a simple tweet. Congratulations to Spurs. My memories at the lane were unbelievable. Thank you for everything. And then sign it off. That's literally all he's got to do. The fans will love him. Fans will be like, yeah, top lad, top guy. But you know what I mean. It's just nice to see someone appreciate us. So I'd love to have seen him there. I'd love to have seen Van der Vaart, Gascoigne. Who else wasn't there? I thought it was brilliant that Peter Crouch was there. That guy just makes me laugh. But hopefully that has answered your question, Alexandra. Eric says, most embarrassing defeat you remember as a fan. I'm going to tell you one that happened at 2012. I was at the game with my dad. I think it might be on my channel. It's Spurs losing to Chelsea 5-1 in the FA Cup final, 2012. I don't even know where to start. It was horrible. It just felt like the goals were just leaking. Every time Chelsea went forward, it had to be Chelsea as well. They just looked like they were going to score, and it was horrible. There was no fight. It looked like we didn't want to be in the stadium. It's like the Wembley curse existed then. Silly. Didn't make sense. The one thing that made up for that was the fans on the way home. Walking down Wembley Way, under the bridge, up to the train station. Unbelievable. The fans at Spurs, top notch. One thing that you can never fault Spurs fans. There's not one Spurs fan that can say, yeah, our support was pretty poor. There's been games against, like, teams, yeah, you're a little bit quiet. But when we're quiet, that's normal to the other clubs. It's when we're loud. Look at yesterday. Unreal. I reckon some United fans were sitting there and they were literally admiring how loud it is. It's the atmosphere at White Hart Lane is something else, and Wembley's going to be shocked with how loud we're going to be. We're going to blow people away. But going back to that was an embarrassing defeat. It was horrible. The defeat was horrible. Me and my dad left early, and we never leave early. His @ sign says Manuel Lanzini. He says, what's your thoughts on moving onwards to a new stadium? Do you think the players will adapt quickly? Well, thank you for a good comment, by the way. I was expecting, I know I've already seen this, so I'll be lying actually, but it's a good comment, so thank you for that, mate. And my thoughts on moving to the new stadium, if you're talking about White Hart Lane, the new one, whether it's going to be called White Hart Lane, I mean, it's going to be known as that. It's moving 5 minutes. It's moving 5 yards closer down the road, so it might as well be. White Hart Lane, no problem. I don't see we're going to have any problem there. And even at Wembley, we shouldn't do. I keep telling everyone, we played well against Chelsea recently when we last played them in the Cup. You know what happened. No point going on about it anymore. But we played well, and we deserve to get more out of that game. So I have no worries at the moment. It's just who we're going to sign, who we're going to hold on to, and that's where you guys can come in. If you have watched this video until the end, drop me your thoughts, how you thought this episode has gone. Tell me your favourite moments as a Spurs fan, as a fan in general, being at White Hart Lane. What have you experienced yourself? And other than that, we're going to leave it there. I think that's job done. That's the finale. Talk Tottenham. I'm happy with how that one went. Remember, 350 likes on this video, and I will be dropping a memorial video telling you guys my memories, what games were good, what games were bad, players I loved, players I didn't. There's some funny names that I've seen. Anthony Gardner, Team Utonio, Stefan Dalmar, just players like Stephen Carter. There's players that Stephen Carter's a bit harsh actually, he was alright. But on that note, we're leaving it there. Thank you so much for your support. Smash the thumbs up button. See you guys soon. Have a day off. Take care. Ciao for now.